Welcome back to the Emerald Coast Sports Show. Another week closer to Friday Night Light season. You can almost feel it, can't you?
Dude, I am very excited about football season this year. We got a lot of great games coming up, a lot of uncertainty, just like the weather that we're having. It's kind of a maelstrom, and that's what's exciting about it, is that you don't really know. It's not guaranteed, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that weather. Seems like just 7 p.m. every single night, a little rainstorm pops up, ruins the evening, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm telling you what, man, it's nice because that I can finally get my kids to go to sleep, and I can just sit quietly, look at a wall, and think about the future that involves football.
That's what we all want to be thinking. And speaking of that, and speaking of football coming up quickly, the preseason 300 team rankings from High School Football America just dropped. Niceville High School checking in at number 160. It's pretty respectable for a list of 300 schools all across America.
Yeah, I mean, to be in the top, what is that, like 0.1% of all high school football teams in America is pretty good. And a bunch of kids on there that we're going to talk about here in a little bit that are on that team that are looking really good, have commitments already to major Division I schools. It's an exciting time to be a Northwest Florida high school football fan, my guy.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of Florida as a whole, 52 teams in that list came from the state of Florida. It just shows you how good the state is. And then you add teams like Lincoln at 233, Mosley at 285, both on Niceville's schedule there. So it's shaping up to be a really nice season in the Emerald Coast. You know, a lot of times you see teams in the South, in Orlando's, the Miamis, taking over this list. A lot of teams to be looking at in the Emerald Coast.
Yeah, and the other thing that's really cool is that Niceville has a brand new coach in Richard Morgan. We did a story where we talked with him a couple months ago, so you can check that out as well on midbaynews.com. But usually most teams that have a brand new coach don't get that kind of love and respect that they're used to, especially when it's a program that's been to the playoffs 24 years in a row like Niceville has.
I think it's one of the biggest things you mentioned is the tradition of success at Niceville High School. You know you're going to get in and year out. It's a playoff team. And now with the new coach, the pressure's on, I think, at this point. You have lots of preseason expectations, a few uncertainties roster-wise, but I think these expectations are good for Niceville going into the season ultimately. And so a bit of a surprise from that list is no Choctaw. The Indians did not make that preseason 300. A bit of a snub, in my opinion. What do you think about that there?
I think Frank Beasley has more than proven that he's got some real talent down there, both on the field on Friday nights and then in the coach's booth as well. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think that Choctaw probably deserves to be, if it's not at 301, which I'm assuming that the HSFA has put them at. Obviously, they're 301.
Of course.
But yeah, I think that they're pretty good. And I think that with all of the motion, especially that we're going to talk about with players moving one place to the other, that this new NIL play wherever you feel like kind of thing has turned high school football into. I think that Choctaw has a chance, even though it's at Niceville this year. I think Choctaw has a puncher's chance at beating Niceville this year. And so for them to not be in the top 300, I don't love it. I don't think it's the right call. But again, there's also, 49 other states that apparently have football. So it's hard to not name everybody. So I get that. But if they're just looking at the numbers and the math and all the statistics, I could probably see why maybe Choctaw didn't make it. But if you're going off of vibes, which is what 80% of high school football is, then yeah, I think that they got snubbed.
Yeah, I think the one thing you kind of mentioned that is really going to help Choctaw this season is the returning players. With the uncertainty of transfers and who's going where, who's playing where, I think Choctaw's returning a lot of guys. They're two starting quarterbacks. The defensive backfield with the Alloway brothers at linebacker, and you just have other talents all over the place. I think that's going to be a big piece for Coach Frank Beasley at Choctaw. And I think that Niceville-Choctaw matchup that you mentioned, that's one to circle on the calendar. That's going to turn a lot of heads, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that the way that high school football, a lot of people want to kind of compare the progression, and naturally your next thing is to think, oh, let's look at how they're going to compare in Division I or how Division I operates, all that kind of stuff. I think that the real secret sauce to understanding high school football, especially in Florida, is to look at basketball. And just hear me out on this, all right? So in basketball, especially in high school basketball or college basketball, you have kind of two groups, right? You have like the blue-blooded, get new kids every year. There's, a couple of freshmen that are five-star recruits and a couple of transfers that played at mid-major schools that think that they're going to be the next, point guard at Kentucky, and all well and good. And, I would say of the 68 teams that make the tournament that year, probably 35 of them are those kind of teams. And I think the other 20 teams, the teams that win their conference, right, like the Mountain Valley and the Southeastern Western Division Conference, whatever, the teams that make the tournament from winning that, honest to God, are the teams that are, putting kids in there for 4 years. And yeah, they were hot garbage walk on as a freshman. And then by their junior year, they had earned a scholarship, and now they're leading the team. And these guys have played together for 4 years. And that cohesion is something that you can't really see statistically. But when you see them on the field, or I guess on the court, when we're doing the basketball metaphor, you can tell, right? You can tell these kids have played together. They know what the other guy's going to do. And I think that Choctaw makes a pretty good argument for we've played together for 4 years and dadgum, we're pretty good ball players.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. I think it's going to be a really fun matchup to watch, fun team to watch. We'll see if they slide into the postseason high school football America 300 top rankings, but we're gonna transfer.
I got a feeling they will.
I think so as well, but time will tell. Let's move from team rankings to the individual preseason Florida recruiting rankings. This is coming from On3. Starting us off strong, the number 37 recruit in the state of Florida, UF commit Kayden Hall, Milton guy, huge 4-star prospect, just made that Florida commitment. That's big for a team who could use some success this year for sure.
Milton needs some love, brother. Milton's been in a bad way for about 10 years. And I think that, and I'm probably one of the people that is hotter on Milton this year. New coach, nothing to lose. Can't get any worse than 0-10.
That's right.
So I like how they look, the energy that they bring. And, they're in a district with Niceville and Gulf Breeze and Mosley. And I think that they look pretty good at the outset for a team that was 0-10. So maybe they do win 4 games. Maybe they keep it within 21 or 28 in Niceville. And maybe they knock off Gulf Breeze. Who knows? I'm excited about Milton. Not as excited about Milton as I am for Choctaw in terms of most improved, if we were going to give out an award for that. But I definitely think that Milton is going to be a significantly better team this year.
I agree. We'll get into that more later on. I'm high on Milton, just like you as well. But a couple other guys that made the list here. Number 40, an offensive lineman, the Clemson commit Grant Wise from Pace. That kid is strong. He's a 3-time state champion in weightlifting over there at Pace. Pace and Milton, those two teams right there in the similar area, both just bringing in good talents.
Yeah, and I know that I've already talked to Colin Bester, our resident reporter from Milton extraordinaire, and he wants that game, man. He wants to put that on our schedule for Friday Night Football, and I'm thinking about letting him. I mean, I know it's pretty far out for our area, but Milton Pace, it has a lot of implications for Choctaw. It has a lot of implications for Niceville, especially if both of those teams play pretty well early on. I just might let him go watch that game.
For sure. I mean, it's a good rivalry game. You're going to have lots of talent, same city teams going at it. And like you said, UF Clemson commits. Those two dudes could be seeing each other on Saturdays. So super exciting matchup there. Let's move on down the list to number 67, U of L, Louisville commit, Julius Miles, the tight end, wide receiver. He's going to Freeport High School. And I just got done watching some clips. This dude can ball. He can make catches, just an insane catch radius. He plays on a really good 7v7 team. And super exciting guy. I think he's going to bring in a lot of yards this season. Already led the team in receptions a season ago and yards a season ago. I think he's going to have a similar breakout year this year as well.
And I'm excited to see Freeport. Now, typically a lot of the best talent that was in Walton County somehow found their way in Boggy, or found their way to Boggy. But a lot of these kids are kind of sticking around now in Walton County. We had a quarterback a couple years ago that transferred from South Walton to Walton. We have Julius here, who's playing for Freeport instead of coming down 20 to play at Niceville. A lot of uncertainty, of course, with the new head coach. So sometimes it's just better to stay on your side of the grass and hope that it's greener and play the game your way.
Yeah, we've seen him have a lot of success over at Freeport. I know Coach Arntz has got something special building over there this season as well. So excited to watch him play. And that brings us to number 85 and number 92 on the list. We're going to talk about these dudes at the same time. Both former Niceville Eagles, Jacoby Green and Zion Legree. Both have since, we can say, hit the portal, I guess, if we want to call it that.
Brother.
One going to Gadsden County. And in terms of Zion Legree, we're not actually really sure where he is right now.
Well, there have been Zion Legree sightings, I would say, on the Twitter sphere and in other social media and otherwise electronic communications media. He's had tweets with Destin High School where he's tagged them. He was on a college visit. I think he told me to Wisconsin.
Wisconsin commit, yeah.
Yeah, he was committed to Wisconsin, so he was up there for a visit, and he tagged Destin, and then tweeted out about Frank Beasley. So is he a Choctaw? I don't know. We're just going to have to wait until the rosters come out and are solidified for this year. But yeah, a lot of this motion that we're seeing in the past when we see kids transfer, it's typically a benefit for a team like Niceville, and this year it hasn't looked that way. And I guess this is the receipt of the reverse, the in kind. When there's instability, kids tend to jump ship.
Yeah, and you see it a lot, college basketball. I'll bring that back up. If you have a mid-major coach, has a good tournament run, he leaves, all his players go with him. I know we talked about it a couple episodes ago when we were talking about the Emerald Coast Classic. Team that got invited, Drake, had a really good tournament run. Their coach left, their leading scorer left, 5 other guys left. And so I think when you lose a coach that these players have been so fond of, I think it's just more and more likely for them to transfer. They see the college guys do it, and now I think it's really kind of bleeding into high school as well, which makes it tough, not only for us, but for the fans as well. You don't really know who's going to be suiting up Friday nights until you see them on the field.
So as a kid who has, like when I was going through school, we didn't have anything like this, right? And so I don't know really what to make of it at the high school level. I'm not thrilled about the concept, but I understand it. I mean, I know that kids want to go play college ball because if anything, you need a college degree out of it, but you could do as well as making, the NFL draft. So I'd love to hear what you think about whether or not this is a good thing for high school sports or for the individual or neither or both.
Well, here's my thing. I think it's beneficial in some scenarios, but say I'm a coach looking for a kid that I want to see play. If I'm not sure what school he's playing for, I'm not gonna know how to recruit him. If I'm that college coach, I'm not gonna know where to find him. I'm not gonna know who to reach out to, because a lot of times these guys will reach out to the high school coaches to find out more information about the kid. I think that's tough. Before this episode started, we were kind of looking him up on Twitter, trying to see where he's at. If we can't find him, I'm sure it's just as easy for a college coach who has hundreds of other guys he wants to talk to not be able to find him as well. So I think it's interesting in a sense that when you have situations that benefit the student, it's good for them, but it's also tough. I think recruiting wise, I think that's the biggest thing for me is that's where the biggest downgrade comes from, is recruiting.
And I would also say, maybe just to add to that, the Eli Mannings and the Peyton Mannings of the world, the guys that are playing like skill positions that are 5-star recruits, and everybody has watched them since the beginning of time. The earth cooled Peyton Manning came out through his first pass, right? And they know where those kids are because there's somebody on that pulse all the time. But for a 3-star recruit, I mean, that could be plug and play for anybody from Eastern Illinois to Harvard or Penn State. Like,
yeah,
it's like, oh, we can just get another one, right? And I don't mean that to say that like they haven't worked very hard and they're not very talented, but a 3-star interior offensive lineman is a 3-star interior offensive lineman. There's a lot of them by definition, right? And so I think that the stability, you're right, makes a lot more sense when you can build a personal relationship and show like, hey, yeah, I blocked just as good as this other guy, and my 40 time is, 1/100th of a second slower than this other guy. And if they have to base it all on stats, they're going to base it on raw stats. But if they can base it on the personality of the guy and know where he is and have talked to him before and have talked to a coach that has seen him mature, I think that's valuable. I think that, to me, as somebody that has to hire people, I would want to know more about the kid other than his raw stats. And then if I'm backed into a corner where I have to pick on raw stats, then I got to do what I got to do, right? But again, if somebody's just a little bit slower, maybe just a little bit weaker, but I've seen this kid, I've talked to his coach who's known him for 3 years, and the coach says like, this kid is incredible. I put the value of my name next to him, like, not a question, right?
For sure.
It's one less unknown for you to have to worry about this kid transferring in a year to another school or dropping out or not making the grades or whatever, right? It's less variables for me to have to do the math on.
Yeah. All right, so we talked about the departures from Niceville. Still plenty of talent on that Niceville roster. Coming in at number 107 on that list, West Virginia commit Robert Stith. We talked about it a lot. If he joins Justice Donahue as another member of that Niceville Eagle football team to make a big D1 commitment. He's at NIU now. So those two paired together, still lots of talent for Niceville.
Yeah, so lots of skill talent for Niceville, plenty of offensive linemen that are ready to make the grade, step up. I think really the only questions that have not been answered, at least, the big flashy position. I mean, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be, right? And we don't know what the tailback rotation is going to look like. As far as I'm concerned, the offensive line, the defensive line, the secondary, especially the wideouts and the tight end, are all accounted for at Niceville.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's something to look forward to, I think, as a Niceville football fan, just kind of putting the pieces together, seeing how this new coach will mesh this team. But you like guys like Robert Stith and Justice Donahue to build around. Big pieces. Looking forward to watching them go this season, this fall. Moving down the list, number 130, Mississippi State commit Adam Land is a tight end from Mosley. Another guy from Mosley to make that Mississippi State pipeline connection. Looking forward to watching him play this fall as well.
Yeah, so Mosley, had a starting quarterback for 4 years, and then had a starting running back for 4 years. And I can't remember their names because that was last season. And so my brain's been wiped from then. I want to say Bo Levy-Mitchell, but that's an SMU quarterback from like 2004. And so that's how hard the wipe is. But he's the last piece of that spectacular offense from Mosley last year that I think hung like 45 or 50 points on Niceville. I remember it being a ton of points when I was watching that game. Niceville answered in kind, came up a little bit short there in Lynn Haven, or not in Lynn Haven, stadiums in Panama City, schools in Lynn Haven. But yeah, it's going to be a brave new world for Mosley. I think there's a lot of uncertainty there, certainly not as much as at Niceville, because everybody has turnover on the gridiron, but not everybody has turnover in the head coaching ranks. That's why I think that this district is going to be a lot more competitive depth-wise than it has been in the last, 10 years, where it's just been basically Mosley and Niceville.
Absolutely. And so we talk about that district. We talked about this team a little bit ago, and it's Milton. I want to talk about Milton. It's a really interesting team. They have new head coach Ronnie Douglas, who is known for his turnaround at Tate. Team was 1-8 in 2013 when he joined the coaching staff. 8-3 his first year, 9-3 his second year. So we know he has the caliber to do it. I'm high on them right now. They bring in an assistant, Ryan Vandervoort, comes with him from Pine Forest, which is his most recent coaching stop. And he has lots of college connections, already helped a ton of guys get offers over there at Milton. And then you add guys like Kayden Hall, the Florida commit. I just cannot see them having as bad as the season as they did last year. In fact, I can see them having a good season.
Yeah, Milton, I think, is got just enough chaos in it, right? It has a chaos quotient, an X factor that makes me think that like there is a non-zero chance, right? That the Milton Panthers could possibly in a world win this district. I think it's very small. I think it's less than 4%. But it's not zero, which it has been. So it has gone up by an exponential margin. And I think it kind of also speaks to the fact that really the further you go down the roster, so from the NFL to the Division I to Division II, whatever, high school, middle school, the further you go down, the more important the coach is. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you have a really good coach, it doesn't really matter. It does matter what the talent level is on the field, but not to the level that it does at the NFL. I mean, you can more or less, I don't want to say you can set it on autopilot at the NFL, but those guys know what they're doing. They've been playing football for 20 years by the time, they're in their third or fourth year in the NFL, and you can pretty much just give them a playbook and they'll figure it out. But in high school, no.
The coach matters. And I think
matters.
Milton really got their guy now. Now, have you ever seen a Ronnie's Car Wash in the area?
Oh, have I seen a Ronnie's car? Are those? No. Those are those towers, right, of glass.
Yeah.
And you just run them through, right?
And so here's something fascinating. Ronnie's Car Wash, owned by head coach Ronnie Douglas. When he made his step away from coaching, he was opening up that car wash chain. So I'm sure if you're watching this in Emerald Coast, you know what Ronnie's Car Wash is like. Funny enough, it is spelled differently. RONNY for Ronnie's Car Wash, and Ronnie for head coach Ronnie Douglas.
A
Still his
clever marketing
place.
move.
Still his place.
I love that the Ronnie's car, because the Ronnie's Car Wash is a very controversial on the news side of the house, right? The car wash buildings of the world are not quite as unpopular as storage facilities, but brother, they're up there. And so I love the fact that Coach Ronnie is an entrepreneur, and I think that he'll bring some of that. I like to think that he'll bring an entrepreneurial spirit to the offense at Milton High, which is apparently, according to Colin, who played at Milton High School 10 years ago, they ran the same playbook for 10 years. So if anything needs some entrepreneurship, it's Milton's offensive playbook. I like the idea that, this dude is just kind of aggressive in how he goes after stuff, right? Because I'll be darned if there aren't 37 Ronnie's Car Washes within 15 miles of where I sit, right? And so he's found a business model that works, and maybe that translates to high school football. I'd like to think so.
I think, just another one of the reasons that this team is so intriguing to me. Do I think they'll win 10 games? Probably not. But I think they will have a significant step up, and they have a guy at the helm who owns a car wash chain. I mean, come on.
What does that NIL deal look like, right?
Yeah. I mean,
does he give himself an NIL deal?
That's the Milton kids getting Ronnie's deals?
They're going through that car wash at cost, dude. They are. They're just paying for suds, my guy. They got the ceramic wash on him. They got that $25 wash.
Yeah.
All right. And while we're talking about it, because it's low cost to put those things up, my man, watching that property value appreciate. Okay. So that's how he needs to run that offense, all right? Like low overhead, high appreciation, values in the land, get that loan, turn those $25 car washes over and over again. Look, that's an offensive game plan if I've ever heard one.
Exciting stuff there. Going for Ronnie with a Y, Ronnie with an IE. I don't know. We'll figure it out come football season. Milton will be one to watch. I'm sure our friend Colin Bester agrees. But we've been talking about commitments pretty much this whole show. We have another one, and we have him joining us. We're going to hear my conversation with Coastal Carolina baseball commit Deacon Avery. All right, super thrilled now to be joined by Deacon Avery, Coastal Carolina commit and rising senior at Niceville High School. Deacon, thanks for joining us, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
So to start us off, can you kind of walk us through your recruiting process, how it went when it started, and what led you to ultimately choosing Coastal?
For sure, yeah. So, most people, you get the calls on August 1st of going into your junior year. For me, those calls or texts didn't really happen. So it kind of just gets you wondering, gets you guessing, if you're good enough to go play in college, stuff like that. So my recruiting kind of started off going into and through my junior year just because, I had a pretty good season. So more and more colleges started to reach out, and then, I got my first offer. And then I ended up eventually going on a visit this summer to Coastal. And as soon as I got there, just was greeted by all the coaches, met the whole coaching staff. As soon as I got there, it felt like home. Going out through the school, eating lunch with the coaches, just felt like they were the place that could develop me to be able to play at the next level, to be able to have a good education, as well as becoming a better baseball player.
So Coastal, was that really one of the first places you looked?
Yes, sir, it was. So it really was. They were one of the first D1s to reach out. It was them and then two other schools, but they were just the ones that kept on me through bad games, through good games. They kept asking how I was doing. They just showed the most interest. They showed how they would develop me as a player and how much interest they see in me and how they value who I could be playing in their program.
Yeah, so, with the recent success, College World Series finals appearance this year, obviously a big part. What were some of the other big selling points to you when you ended up committing there?
Just, the culture aspect, they have a great program there. They just went to the College World Series. They had a great year. The coaches, they just showed you what they can do to develop you as a player. So it's not just we want to win, but it's also developing each and every player so that we can win. And then just the facilities, man, they're great. They're so nice. Having the weight room, having to own indoor, stuff like that, having our coach as a weightlifting coach just for baseball. It was very convincing. It felt like home.
Yeah, for sure. And so I kind of want to look back at the junior year you had at Niceville, really historic for the team, one of the deepest runs that Niceville's had in a while. Looking back as a whole, what does that season mean to you to be a part of it?
I mean, it means everything. In junior year, we knew we had a good chance. We had a really big senior class. I was really looking forward to being able to play those guys one last time, and then we ended up going to the Elite Eight, making it to the final game. It was just a really great year. I had a lot of fun. Building a family, not just a team. We really became a family and playing for each other, not just trying to go to the next level, stuff like that. So I mean, it was just really it was one of the best seasons I've ever played.
And now looking forward to your senior year, what are some of your goals and things you still want to achieve with the Niceville uniform on?
I mean, I definitely want to be able to go win a state ring for sure. I would say team goals, I want to have a good season. I want to have a 20-win plus season. I want to be able to make it to state, win the district 2 years in a row. Niceville hasn't won many district championships, so last year was one of the first years in a while. So I'd like to be able to win two. For me personally, I'd like to keep going and hit 400 3 years in a row. Maybe, hit 10 home runs again. That'd be nice. There's definitely have high expectations for this year because we had a great year last year, but going into this year, I really believe that our team could go maybe even win state this year.
Absolutely, man. And one last thing, what are you looking forward to most when it comes to you getting to Conway in a couple summers?
I'm just really looking forward to the first day of practice, because, you just shows they're telling me everything you do is tracked, so your meals, your plant, your practice, your hitting, your fielding, everything's tracked. So it really just shows how they can develop you as a player, but also it shows how you can improve. So I'm going to go home after practice and I'm going to be able to improve the next day. So, I mean, I'm most looking forward to just being able to develop as a player, but also to be able to be in such a great program and be able to just go and try to win a national championship.
All right, man, that's all I got for you. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good stuff there from Deacon. Coastal Carolina, they're a successful team. That College World Series appearance this season, I would argue, and that's one of the biggest baseball commitments Niceville's had in a while.
I'm used to seeing, a couple guys go to West Florida or maybe go play in the Sun Belt somewhere else, right? Like at a Troy. You see a couple of Sun Belt commits every couple of years, but nothing like this. So this is pretty cool.
I was actually up in Auburn for the Super Regional, watching Auburn and Coastal play. That team is good. They have a really good head coach, and Coach Kevin Schnall. He knows what he's doing, has a great relationship with his players. I think Deacon's going to thrive there, and I'm really excited to see him play for the Choctaws going forward.
And that's a great mascot. I love a good niche mascot. Like minor league baseball mascots are my favorite thing.
Oh yeah.
And so when you get a real good, it's not the Hounds or the. So I don't want to bring it up, but the Tigers. Look, I'm an LSU guy, but there's 37 Tigers, right? And there's 37 Bulldogs, and there's So when you get a real good native to the area mascot, you just want to root for them. And plus that teal, it's garish, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, the teal. They don't have the teal baseball field yet, but I mean that could be something we see in the future. Don't want to rule it out.
Gehrig, don't let your dreams be dreams. All right, there's a way to do this.
The field will become teal. Let's just say that. It'll become teal.
It's going to happen.
I'm definitely looking forward to watching Deacon play for the Chanticleers. Like you said, it just rolls off the tongue, too, the Chanticleers.
So good.
Well, that's all we got for you today on the Emerald Coast Sports Show. Lots of exciting things coming up. We're just 2 weeks away from fall practice. Can you believe that?
I can't, but I know how excited I am to see all of your reporting that's going to be coming down the pipe as we kind of recap all these teams we're going to be watching this season. Because I need to know what to look out for because, frankly, I'm an idiot. So if I can get all the crib sheets you can give me, I'll be a happy man.
Yep. Over the course of the first couple weeks of fall practice, I'm going to be traveling down to some of these high schools, meeting with the coaches, meeting with the players, taking in practice, see what the team is all about. That's exciting. But until then, you have been watching the Emerald Coast Sports Show. I'm Gesch. That's Christopher Saul. Thanks for watching.